Good morning, welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 17th of April. So let's have a look at what's going on today. Firstly, I shall look at the potential risk that we should get through. Let's just have a look at that first. And well, today we got very little really. Empire State Manufacturing later, and then we got ECB Lagarde, President Lagarde speaking there at 4 p.m. I was just looking, due to speak at the Council of Foreign Relations. Okay, now one thing we've got to watch out for this week, and it's not really shown too well on here. Let me just switch calendars and look on the left hand side here. We've got a lot of US speakers coming out as we run through the week. It's not so much at the moment, but this is the last week that many of them can speak, because I think they can't do much. And as you look at particularly towards the 20th excuse me, there's quite a lot of Fed speakers there. 21st, that's, I think that's it, and then there isn't there's no more data there for me at the moment. But the risk is, and what happened on Friday was we had Fed Waller, Christopher Waller excuse me, he released his comments came out exactly the same time as the rather poor retail sales came out. So it sort of gave the dollar, his hawkish sort of ness gave the dollar a bit of a lift, obviously kicking back the euro, etc. So we're looking at the euro, the pound, and a lot of the other, well, most of the majors against the dollar, looking a little bit on the softer side, but we'll see. Now looking at the euro, then just kicking ahead for now, and looking at its euro dollar, it is, or has, found some support into its weekly pivot, quite like this. I think we could see some long side pushing through here. Now I might just wait. It's got some divergence on sort of 30 minutes on the RSI, and 60 minutes on the 30 minutes on MACD, but 60 minutes here on the RSI, my more tighter measure. So we've got some divergence across these lows here. It doesn't take much to spot it anyway, but a break of the highs have hit this. Might be something of a bigger move, looking for the bigger bounce off of the weekly pivot here. So there's some scope for this morning, and it's probably one of the better ones. We'll put aside of the Canadian dollar, which I'll come on to in a moment. The pound damaged its structure really, but it's not completely over and done with, but it is below its weekly pivot at the moment, and well, it's still got a divergence down the lows here, and yes, it could fire off and catch the pivot. It's a bit sort of, I feel like I'm catching a knife on this one a little bit, so I'd prefer the euro than the pound, so that means the pound will absolutely fly now. US dollar yen, well, the yen, let's come back to here, it's put another higher low in, so we've got a couple of higher lows here. It's going against, I mean, it has a couple of days in the direction I thought it would go, but perhaps just got to be patient on this. We see these higher lows coming back, and this week, last week, it started rolling over quite nicely, only to bounce at the end of the week there, so, and take out the previous highs just about. I'm still waiting, but I'll just wait for that. I'm not going to try and get in there too early. Aussie dollar then, the Aussie dollar, believe it or not, is the strongest one of the major currencies this morning. It doesn't look like it from watching it against the US dollar here, but it just shows you how weak they all are, or how flat they all are at this stage. Again, with the Aussie, I was expecting something a bit more, but we've run into the quarterly pivot on Friday. Didn't spot that at the time. So I'm missing some of these quarterly pivot moves. I'll go and look through them and completely forget about them. So I've actually put them on my dailies here. So I've got a quarterly pivot and a monthly pivot sitting on this daily price time frame. Looking at the Aussie dollar, then it's just struggling around its weekly pivot at the moment. Get above that, and it would be a bit more of a bullish sort of movement. But I don't like the way it's sitting up at the moment here. It might start getting a bit of a lift, but it's just looking quite soft there. So it's off my list this morning. what's on my list is this Canadian dollar. It's been doing pretty well. It had a good old week last week. Of course, Friday we saw the bounce like we did in everything else, but this is coming off already, and looking like a possible. It's just sitting into its hourly 34 at the moment, and that could just hold it. So I'd wait post 8 o'clock, ideally a bit into the 8 o'clock time frame, not the first 5 or 10 minutes, just to see what happens there. We might just get sort of flushed out, and then off it might disappear again back upwards. But I'm watching, as I say, watching all these markets this morning and the potential reversals. But the Canadian dollar, it's a long way away from its weekly pivot here at the moment, but it's just that I really like the way it's been running here. Okay, Euro Yen, I'll just talk about this. This is continuing. I keep on talking about the retail traders of shorting this and have been shorting it. I mean, this is a 4-hourly chart. Just come back to the dailies. There's the daily chart, and they're so short on it. They've been short on it from way back here. So there's got to be some squeezing going on those shorts time and time again. At the moment, it's not really setting too much up. It's already caught the daily pivot, the R1. It could have scope to set something a bit more, and the pivots are relatively pinched here, so we could see something a bit more come out of this as we go through the day. But looking okay-ish at the moment. Rest of the markets, there isn't a great deal there at the moment. I'm going to go through it in the our trading room. Morning, Michael. I'm going to go through it in the trading room in a short while. Let's see what happens then. But at the moment, as I said, the euro's got the possible bounce off the weekly pivot there. I quite like that. We'll see how it develops this morning. I'm not into a rush. As I said, got to wait for it to see if it breaks the high between the two lows here. If it doesn't, well, it could be on for the S1 and even a bit more correction. Maybe the market's got a temporary heebie-jeebies. Okay, there's Forex for now. Looking at gold, then we saw gold coming off. He says, there we go, saw gold coming off on Friday. Let's just have a look at the bigger picture here. Quite bearish looking sort of setup in its highs there. It's not looking the best. It's on the underside of its weekly pivot as well at this stage. Now it's never the most, it was a bit weaker when it's doing this, and it looks just a little bit on the softer side. The daily pivot's just above. Might not get hit, bearing in mind the weekly pivot's providing the resistance and the weekly pivot being stronger than daily pivot. So it does look a bit iffy. It put a higher low in already though. Let's see how it works out this morning. I think it just needs a bit of time on some of these markets. Oil's just hanging in there now. It's just holding up. Generally, we used to come into the drive-in season, come into May, June, July time, but it's a bit of a distance away. It used to create quite a bit of demand, but at the moment this is looking quite flat, relatively on the shorter time frames. So, quick look at the indices, starting going across. As expected, CSI 300 continue to had a little close up on Friday, and it's had a decent close up through the Asian session there. The Nikkei again pushing up, down, up and down really. It's it's up for the day, but it managed to pop up there, put a new high in, but just pull off again. A little bit of a yeah, I can see a lot of people thinking of the spinning top and look across to the left here and think, is that it? Well, we'll see. You'd only be buying on the breaks tomorrow. Nifty 50. Okay, Nifty 50 is down at the moment, retesting its trend line. This is just popped through it a little bit and found some support there. Maybe it's got a bit better chance to push up a little further. The S&Ps, the E-minis, or the US 500 as it's known on these brokers, it's close to its prior highs. It's quite a mess. That last lot of highs was quite a mess. It's sort of run into there. There certainly looks like there's supply around that area, and there'll be some divergence around the highs here as well, but not one that I would trade at this stage. I would only be looking bearish if we broke the full 4067 area. We broke the lows here. Okay, the, the Dow 30, or the Dow Jones, the US 30 as it's referred to, inside day on Friday. I think we're going to see on these markets uncertainty continuing through the. I mean, just looking at the dailies here on the Nasdaq, and it's just chop, 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 chop. So I think we'll see uncertainty there. Meanwhile, in Germany, the DAX is continuing. I don't know why they still call it the German 30 when it's. May need to check that. They make sure they got the right data on there, but it should be the German 40 anyway. Looking positive. It just remains positive to me. European markets and the FTSE's following suit, really just pushing up already the futures. Okay, that's pretty much it there. Let's just quick look at a quick nose and see what happened in the world of crypto over the weekend. Bitcoin, where are you? There we are. Oh, there you go, bit of a mixed one, up on Saturday, down on Sunday. Looking a bit softer on Sunday there. Let's just have a quick look through Ethereum, similar-ish, up and down. Up and down, there you go. Some good analysis there, up and down. And the same with Ripple's just not really going in where anything is, just after the sort of action we saw into last month, it's just consolidated completely, and consolidated in the wrong place. I don't like consolidation away from the highs there. I just feel like it could, if the markets start rolling over, it might be one of the first to go bigger. Right, that's it for now. I wish you a great day, great week ahead, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.